What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Sir?
The most you ever lost on a coin toss.
There's a kind of violence that doesn't rage, doesn't explain, doesn't apologize. It just arrives, flips a coin, and tells you the result was always coming. That's not fate. That's the oldest trick in the world, making cruelty feel like math. Everyone quotes the coin toss, but almost nobody talks about what happens when it fails. When one woman refuses to call it and exposes Anton Chigurh as exactly what he is. Not an agent of fate, a murderer with a quarter. So let's kill the myth, layer by layer. The gas station. Chigurh walks in. The proprietor makes small talk. Bad move. He doesn't do small talk. He does rituals. And he builds a cathedral around a quarter.
You've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it. You know what date is on this coin?
No.
1958. It's been traveling 22 years to get here. And now it's here. And it's either heads or tails. And you have to say, call it.
He's telling this old man that every decision he ever made, marrying his wife, inheriting that station, closing at a certain hour, was a cosmic chain that dragged him to this counter, this second, this coin. That's the theology. Clean, airtight, absolute. And it falls apart the second you ask one question. Who decides who gets the coin? The cartel accountant? No coin. The hotel clerk? No coin. Carson Wells? Shot in the face. No coin. The coin only appears when Chigurh encounters someone innocent, someone with no connection to the money. The coin isn't fate. It's a shield. A prop a sociopath holds up so he never has to look at what his hands are doing. And then there's his weapon. Most hitmen in cinema use guns. Chigurh uses a captive bolt stunner, a pneumatic tool designed for slaughterhouses. It doesn't crack like a gunshot. It hisses. A short burst of compressed air, a metallic thunk, and a body drops. No bang, no echo, no dignity. The people Chigurh kills with this tool aren't granted the status of a victim. They're granted the status of livestock. They're not killed. They're processed. And here's the detail that makes it worse. Listen to the sound it makes. Not a bang, a hiss. The same sound you'd hear in an industrial meat plant. The Coens recorded the actual tool. That's not a movie effect. That's the real thing. I caught that on my third watch, and it reframed the entire film. If something in your brain just rearranged, if you're already thinking about rewatching that scene, that's exactly when people hit like. Not because I told them to, because they felt it. Hi, I'm Nick, you're watching Cynic Cults, and we're just getting started. Now go deeper, because Cormac McCarthy didn't write a hitman. He wrote something ancient. In Gnostic theology, the material universe is a prison, patrolled by enforcers called archons, whose purpose is to crush human freedom and enforce the lie that fate is law. Chigurh operates exactly like an archon. He appears with an almost supernatural awareness. He survives wounds that would kill ordinary men. At one point performing surgery on his own shattered leg with stolen veterinary supplies, stitching bone and muscle with the steady hands of someone who's done this in a previous life. And his coin maps directly onto the Gnostic concept of Hymarmene, deterministic fate, weaponized by the prison guards of the cosmos. When he tells the gas station owner that the coin has been traveling 22 years to get here, he's not philosophizing. He's delivering a sentence. Your path was drawn before you were born, and I enforce the drawing. And here's what most analyses miss completely. There is one man in the story who actually knows Chigurh. Not through rumor, not through crime scene forensics. Personally, Carson Wells, ex-Special Forces, a man hired to clean up the mess. And watch how he talks about Chigurh. He doesn't whisper, he doesn't tremble. He warns Moss the way a retired bomb technician warns someone about an old device. Calmly, specifically, without awe. He's dealt with this before. He knows the model, he knows the wiring. And when they finally meet, Wells doesn't beg, doesn't bargain with the cosmos. He sits in that hotel room and accepts his death with the exhaustion of someone who always knew this call was coming. The only man who actually knew Chigurh wasn't afraid of a god. He was tired of a man. That tells you everything. The myth only works on people who've never seen behind it. But if Chigurh is the enforcer of cosmic fate, then why does his entire system collapse when one woman says no? Carla Jean Moss buries her mother, comes home, and finds death sitting in a chair. He runs the same program. The calm voice, the logic. He tells her that her husband had the opportunity to remove you from harm's way. Instead, he used you to try to save himself.
I know you was crazy when I saw you sitting there. I knowed exactly what was in store for me.
Call it.
No. I ain't gonna call it.
Call it.
He repeats himself. Call it. And she fires back 6 words that dismantle everything he's ever built.
The Coen don't have no say. It's just you.
Just you. Not fate, not the cosmos, not a quarter minted in 1958. You. A man choosing to murder a grieving woman in her own bedroom because her husband made a bad decision. That's all this is. And think about what she's actually done. Every character in this film is reacting. Moss reacts to the money, Wells reacts to the contract, Bell reacts to the violence. Everyone is pulled along by forces they didn't start. Carla Jean is the only character in the entire story who makes a genuine, unconditioned choice. She doesn't run, she doesn't comply. She looks at the system and says no. She's the only free person in the film, and she uses that freedom to tell the truth. And watch Javier Bardem in this moment. That legendary stillness, the thing that won him the Oscar, fractures. Not with a shout, with a flicker behind the eyes. She's told the Archon he has no power she didn't give him, and he has nothing. So he kills her anyway. If the coin is fate, and fate decides, then a refusal to call the coin means fate hasn't spoken. No verdict, no mandate. But he acts anyway, because a widow called his bluff and he couldn't let her live with the knowledge. And the universe responds, immediately. A car runs a red light and smashes into him at full speed. No foreshadowing, no cartel plot, no sheriff pursuit. A random driver, a random red light, a random afternoon. His arm shatters, bone through skin. The crash is the coin toss Chigurh doesn't get to call. And then the detail that buries the myth. He pays 2 boys for the shirt off one of their backs, fashions a sling, begs them to tell the police they saw nothing. The enforcer of cosmic fate, the Archon, bribing children on a sidewalk. But here's the paradox nobody talks about. If Chigurh truly believes in determinism, if fate drew every line and no line can be erased, then the crash is fate speaking directly to him. And a true believer would accept it. He wouldn't resist. He wouldn't flee. He'd sit in that wreckage and let the design complete itself. Instead, he fights, he bribes, he runs. His response to the crash isn't the behavior of a man who believes in fate. It's the behavior of a man who's terrified of consequences. He never believed it. Not for a second. And listen to what the Coens do here. Most villains are scored. Darth Vader has the Imperial March. The Joker has escalating strings. The music tells you this is a force of nature. The Coens gave Chigurh nothing. Just the squeak of boots on linoleum and the pneumatic hiss of that slaughterhouse tool. That silence isn't a stylistic choice. It's the film quietly agreeing with Carla Jean. There is no cosmic theme because there is no cosmic agent. The silence is the verdict. Ed Tom Bell opens this film with a voiceover most people forget. He talks about the old-timers, the ones who didn't carry guns. And then he talks about a boy he sent to the gas chamber. A boy who told the papers he'd kill again if they let him loose, that he knew he'd been heading to hell since he was born. Bell says he doesn't know what to make of that, but I think he does. I think Bell sees himself in that boy, not in the violence, but in the certainty. The boy believed his path was drawn before he was born. Chigurh believes the same thing. And Bell is terrified because he's starting to wonder if they might be right. He retires. He tells his wife about a dream, his dead father riding ahead into the cold and dark, carrying fire in a horn. And Bell knew his father was going to make a fire somewhere up ahead and wait for him. And then he woke up. Not a gunfight, not justice. An old man dreaming about a warmth he can't reach. That's the ending. Bell never catches Chigurh, never even meets him. Think about that. In the entire film, the sheriff and the killer never share a single frame. And that's not a failure of the plot, it's the point. Because Chigurh isn't Bell's antagonist. Chigurh is the shape Bell's fear takes when he can't comprehend the violence flooding his county. The boogeyman his mind builds to explain a world that stopped making sense. And the only person who actually confronts that shape, who strips it bare, isn't the sheriff. It's a woman with nothing left to lose who said the truest line in the whole film. The Coen don't have no say, it's just you. She beat him with the truth, and the universe sent a car to finish the sentence. So here's my question. Is Chigurh a hypocrite? A man who hides behind a coin so he never has to own his choices? Or is the car crash proof that fate does exist, and it turned against him the moment he broke his own code? Both readings hold, and the fact that McCarthy and the Coens built a character that sustains both, that's not ambiguity, that's architecture. Drop your answer below. I don't chase subscribers. I find people who see stories differently. If you're still here, if what I just showed you made the version you had in your head feel incomplete, then you're one of us. We're building an empire of people who hear the line everyone quotes and catch the line nobody does. And if you're still here, you're already one of us. You know what to do. Now I want to hear from you. Which film, which scene, which character do you want dissected next? Drop it in the comments. The one that keeps coming up is the one I'm breaking down next. See you in the next one. Until then, stay cult.